All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are jumping into a huge problem in AI development, cost. Specifically, the absolutely shocking cost of building those smart autonomous agents. Look, if you've ever gotten your API bill and had that heart-stopping moment, yeah, you're in the right place. So let's kick things off with a number that should, well, it should probably scare you a little. 750x. No, that's not a typo. That's how much more expensive a complex AI agent can be versus just a simple chat query. It's an absolutely staggering number, and it shows you just how fast your budget can, poof, disappear. So what's behind this massive jump in cost? Well, it all comes down to this really critical idea, the Agentic AI cost multiplier. You can almost think of it like this invisible monster that just eats your budget for breakfast. And seriously, understanding this and learning how to tame it is your #1 defense against those nightmare budget explosions. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Why? Why are these bills so high? We're going to break down exactly how these agentic systems chew through tokens like there's no tomorrow. And hint, it's not just one thing. It's a snowball effect, a compounding problem. All right, take a look at this table because it tells the whole story. You start with a simple chat, right? One LLM call, baseline. But then you move to something like a React agent. Boom, you're already at 8 to 15 times the cost. Get to a complex multi-agent system, you're looking at 150 to times 750 times the cost. And here's the killer detail. With every single step that agent takes, it stuffs the entire history back into the context window. It's like rereading a whole book just to read the next page. That's what creates this insane exponential growth and sends your bill to the moon. And look, this isn't some academic theory. This is a real-world horror story. There was a documented case where an agent using Claude got stuck in an infinite loop. For 7 hours, it just sat there, spinning its wheels, and burned through 27 million tokens. The bill for that one little runaway task, about $200. Now just imagine that happening across hundreds of users. Yeah, it's a wake-up call for sure. Okay, enough with the scary stuff. Don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. Now we get to the good part. The solutions. I'm going to walk you through a toolkit, 4 really powerful, really actionable strategies you can use to wrestle these costs back under control. So here they are, 4 main levers you can pull. We're going to break down each one, but we're starting with what is honestly the biggest game changer of them all, multi-model routing. The whole idea here is just common sense, right? You don't use a sledgehammer to crack a nut. You don't need to fire up the most powerful, most expensive model like a full GPT-4o just to pull a name out of an email. As you can see here, if you route that simple data extraction task to something like GPT-4o Mini, you can save around 80%. The key is building a smart router that picks the cheapest model that can still get the job done for each little task. Okay, next up in our toolkit is prompt caching. And for those agentic loops we keep talking about, this is an absolute game changer. The idea is so simple, it's beautiful. Think about all the stuff you send over and over again, like your system instructions or your tool definitions. With caching, the provider stores that stuff once and then gives you a massive discount every other time you send it. You stop paying for the same text again and again. And this chart just shows you how insane the savings can be. This is an example from Anthropic. The first time, yeah, you might pay a tiny bit extra to write to the cache. But look what happens over just 10 iterations. The cached cost is a tiny fraction of the original. We're talking about an 89% savings. It's basically free money for being smart about your prompts. All right, let's be honest. Not every single thing your agent does needs an answer right now, right? For all that stuff that can wait, like processing a huge pile of documents overnight or running your evals, there's the Batch API. You just bundle up your jobs, send them off, and you get the results back within 24 hours. The reward for your patience? A straight-up 50% discount. It's half price just for not being in a hurry. Okay, so we've talked about what you can do. Now let's zoom out and look at the market, because something big happened. A massive price war kicked off, and it has completely changed the game for building AI agents. And you know what? Understanding this new landscape can save you an absolute fortune. And the company that lit the match was DeepSeek. They just exploded onto the scene with models that were seriously good, like top-tier performance, but the price was just a tiny fraction of what the big guys were charging. It was a bombshell, and it forced everyone else to slash their prices. For us developers, it's been amazing. I mean, just look at these numbers. They're wild. Compared to GPT-4o, DeepSeek is 18 times cheaper on input tokens. And on output, it's a mind-blowing 36 times cheaper. Let that sink in. For certain tasks, that's a potential 95% cost reduction just by choosing a different model. That isn't just a lever you can pull, that's a giant emergency savings button. So here's a snapshot of the whole market. You really have a spectrum of choices now. At one end, you've got the super cheap, high-volume players like DeepSeek. Then you've got these awesome value options in the middle, like GPT-4o Mini. And then at the premium end, you still have the powerhouses like Claude Sonnet from Anthropic. Yeah, it's more expensive per token, but remember those incredible 90% caching savings? It's all about picking the right tool for your specific budget and needs. And that brings us to our fourth and final lever. This one is all about being smart from the very beginning. We're talking about building cost saving right into the DNA of your agent, into its architecture. These are changes you make in your code that directly slash your bill. And these are simple, but man, are they effective. First, put a hard cap on your agent loops, say 10 or 15 max. No more infinite loops. Second, stop sending the whole chat history every time. Compress it, summarize it. Third, look at your tool schemas. Are they super wordy? Trim them down. Every single token costs money. And finally, get your output in structured JSON, not a chatty paragraph. These little bits of discipline add up to huge savings because you're just cutting out the waste. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's this. Cost isn't just some boring business number you look at later. It's actually a measure of how good your architecture is. It's a sign of elegance and efficiency. A lean, cheap-to-run agent is almost always a smarter, better-designed agent, period. And that really leaves us with one final big question to chew on. As we keep building these incredibly powerful agents, maybe the next big leap forward isn't just about raw intelligence. Maybe it's about something else entirely. Radical efficiency. Maybe the smartest AI isn't the one that knows the most, but the one that knows how to spend the least. Think about that.